hands tied around the bedpost, one shot, close range, side of the head.
You got a time frame?
Sometime between 8 and 11 last night.
Name's Charles Dillon, Livingston, New Jersey.
He's got a wedding ring.
If there was any cash in here, it's gone now.
So what is this, like a sex romp going bad?
If it was, it went bad pretty fast. There's no fluids on his underwear or the sheets.
Thanks.
Hi, Detectives Cassidy and Green.
Adrian Harding.
Was Mr. Dillon staying here?
He wasn't supposed to be.
Who has access to this suite?
Anyone from Halligan Webb's executive offices could get a key.
And does that include Mr. Dillon?
He was our general counsel.
What can you tell us about him?
I didn't know him personally, just what I read in papers.
He was in the news?
You must have heard about the eavesdropping scandal in my company.
Yeah, Halligan Webb bigwigs spying on their employees.
It's a huge federal investigation now, and Mr. Dillon is in the middle of it. He was supposed to testify before Congress on Friday.
If you want to survive this congressional investigation, you'd better come through.
I'm having a meeting tomorrow with the board about your severance package.
I'm thinking 10 million sounds about right, given the circumstances.
No, we are under very tight scrutiny right now. That is not going to be
Figure it out.
I didn't have anything to do with this. You know that.
Look, I don't give a damn. The feds like to flip up, not down.
You know what? I think I'll take my chances.
And I know about your Brazilian whore. Press is going to love a story like that, don't you think? Big shot CEO shacking up with a long-legged hooker? Huh. I get hot just thinking about that.
Fine. I will have another word with our compensation consultant. See if there's any flexibility in the numbers.
Do that.
How in the heck did you get that?
Halligan Webb's new general counsel turned over everything in Dillon's office, including the surveillance tapes.
Interesting fodder for page 6, but what about for our trial?
Dillon was threatening to give up Weaver to the feds, tell the press about her lesbian relationship with an ex-prostitute.
Think she was involved in the murder?
Certainly she had the most to gain from his death.
Well, it doesn't mean she killed him.
She was paranoid enough to make sure that nobody leaked any negative information about her company or her to the press or anyone.
Weaver's a tough CEO. Everybody knows that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Why don't we stop theorizing and start trying to find some proof tying Weaver to the murder?
These past few weeks have been trying, but we need to move forward and ignore the negative press. We owe that to the stockholders of this great company.
Excuse us. Sorry to interrupt. We need to speak with you outside.
I'll be right back. I'm sure this is all a misunderstanding. This better be important.
Oh, it is. We searched your residence. We couldn't find that .38 you bought in Houston.
That gun is legally licensed.
Fine. Then tell us where it is. We'll do a quick ballistics check, and maybe you can walk away from all this.
I want to speak to my lawyer immediately.
I think that's a great idea because you're under arrest for the murder of Charles Dillon. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law.
How would you describe yourself, Samantha?
I'm driven, controlling, aggressive, insensitive.
Any positive qualities?
I'm sure there are a few, but I don't dwell on them.
Did you ever tell Julia Veloso about your problems at work?
Every once in a while. Our relationship wasn't very intimate. It was more functional.
Sexual?
Yes.
Did you ever mention the name Charles Dillon to her?
I vented a few times about Charles's role in the eavesdropping matter, how he put the company at risk. I'd also mentioned that he was trying to pressure me into supporting an unreasonable severance plan.
What do you mean by pressure you?
Well, he threatened to tell the press about my relationship with Julia. He also threatened to lie to Congress and the U.S. Attorney's Office about me.
How did Julia react to that?
She was upset, enraged, actually. She thought that if I was going to go broke, she was going to end up on the streets again. I tried to calm her down, assure her that that wasn't the case, but I don't think she really believed me.
Did you ever tell Julia to kill Charles Dillon?
No. No, of course not.
Nothing further.
If you were indicted in the eavesdropping scandal, your employment contract would have been terminated, correct?
Yes.
You'd lose 1 million shares of stock, currently valued at $75 million.
Correct.
So it was just a stroke of good luck that your girlfriend murdered the one man who could cost you your job and $75 million? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's a tragedy.
A tragedy engineered by you?
I had nothing to do with it.
So Julia just killed Charles Dillon on her own, risked life in prison to protect you.
She was trying to protect herself. She thought that if I were fired, I wouldn't support her anymore.
You purchased a .38 caliber handgun in 1999, the same model used to kill Charles Dillon?
Yes, but there are probably thousands, maybe millions of .38s out there.
But your .38 is currently missing.
I threw it away a few years ago after watching a PBS documentary on handguns, despite the NRA bumper sticker on my father's pickup truck.
So where did Julia get the exact same type of gun, Ms. Weaver?
I have no idea.
Her testimony that she used your gun was a lie?
Yes. I am a businesswoman, Mr. McCoy, not a criminal. I solve problems through negotiation and compromise.
Even when someone has wronged you?
As a young female CEO, I have been the victim of false press reports, negative rumors, failed coup attempts, and I never take them personally, never. And I don't react emotionally or try to exact revenge. That only plays into the hands of the men that are trying to take me down.
You solve disputes peacefully. Is that what you're saying?
I'm pragmatic, Mr. McCoy, not vindictive. Well, despite the testimony of my bitter ex-employees, I had nothing to do with Charles Dillon's death.
Right, your lover acted on her own.
I know that's hard for you to believe, Mr. McCoy, but it's true. Julia had a very tough upbringing. Clearly, there's still a lot of anger there, especially toward men.
What do you want, Ms. Weaver?
A plea bargain.
You just testified you were innocent.
I am. But I make my decisions based on numbers, facts, perceived risk, and I am guessing that juries don't like overachieving women who fire men whose wives are dying of cancer.
Murder 2, 15 to life.
Man 2, 5 to 15.
Forget it.
Why would I kill someone over a half-assed federal eavesdropping indictment or because someone was threatening to out me? I'm a very wealthy woman.
Who'd never worked for a Fortune 500 company the rest of her life.
You are just like everyone else. You think that I am guilty because I am a woman who has power.
No. Ms. Weaver, I think you're guilty for the same reason you bugged your corporate headquarters. You're a person with power who couldn't bear to lose it.
Mom, watch where you're going, okay?
Oh, I'm just having a little fun, Nikki. Jeez. Give me my spray out of my purse, will you, honey?
So, where'd you take her?
Apple picking.
Oh, risky first date.
Oh, it's all good, bro. And we got some great McCowns.
Macoons.
Minivan entered the highway at 14th Street going the wrong way. Witnesses say it was going 60 minimum. Hit this poor guy head on. All three of the car were in DOA. 2 in the minivan, little kids.
What about the driver of the minivan?
They rushed her and 2 other kids to St. Agnes's.
Drove almost 20 blocks on the wrong side. Unbelievable.
Hey, I think I found the culprit. Grain alcohol, 151 proof.
No taste, packs a wallop.
Yeah, there's still a few drops in the bottle. This is why I take the subway.
She had our nieces with her. Oh, God. Oh, what am I going to tell Sandy and Bob?
We're very sorry, Mr. Sawyer.
Where was she coming from?
She was coming from work from Woodmore Pharma. Brenda's a sales manager. She wasn't even supposed to have the kids with her. I was supposed to pick them up from her sister's place, but last minute I had to stay late at the bank.
So you called your wife?
Yeah, around 4:45, I told her she'd have to pick the kids up and I'd come up later.
How'd she sound?
She sounded okay. You know, she was still at work.
We have to ask you this, Mr. Sawyer. Did your wife drink?
No, maybe champagne on special occasions, but that's it. Why?
There was a bottle of grain alcohol in the van. Maybe it belonged to you.
No, we're not drinkers. What are you implying, that my wife was drunk?
Just routine questions, Mr. Sawyer.
My wife was not drunk. No damn way. I have to go check on my son.
How was she when she left on Friday?
She was good. Happy to go home.
What time was that?
Maybe 4:15, 4:30.
You ever see her have a drink at lunch or after hours?
Maybe a glass of punch at a Christmas party.
Did you ever talk about drinking or being hungover?
No? Well,
What is it, Miss Marshall?
well, when she left on Friday, she said she was going to be cooped up with 4 kids all weekend. She laughed and said she was going to need a stiff drink, but I thought she was kidding.
How did she get in that car, stone cold drunk? And now her husband's saying she didn't touch the stuff? Well, you know what that's about.
Are you planning to take legal action against Matt Sawyer?
You're damn right I am. I lost my wife, my daughter, her fiance.
Leslie,
I don't care about
can
the
please turn
money.
that off?
Somebody's
Sorry,
got
Mr.
to answer
Marshall.
for this.
Okay, everybody, back to work, please.
No secret stash? No breath mints?
You know, she told her sister she was going to take the kids to get ice cream before hitting the road.
Right, so maybe someplace between her sisters and the highway.
Sorry to crash the party. After you told me about her allergies, I took another look at her nasal mucosa. There was chronic inflammation, so I checked with the tox lab about the nasal spray.
Propofol. An anesthetic, right?
Yeah, powerful one. Also known as milk of amnesia. It's been in the news. It would cause immediate disorientation and lack of control if she sprayed it in her nose.
And all tox screens of Brenda Sawyer missed it.
It dissipates in minutes. It wouldn't be detected.
So somebody spiked her nasal spray with this stuff?
Without a doubt.
When you're right, you're right.
I want to be helpful.
You're doing okay. Yeah, let's start with some easy questions. Brenda, she had allergies, right?
Yes, she was always spritzing stuff up her nose.
Where did she keep her nasal spray?
In her purse.
And her purse. Where did she keep that?
On her desk. Or next to it. Is this helping?
Big time. Okay, touchier subject now. How did she get along with people here?
Oh, everyone thought the world of her.
We heard she'd been staying late the last few weeks. What was that about?
She and Zach, that's Mr. Marshall, the head of the sales department, they had this big project together.
Project. That sounds interesting.
Oh, for sure. The night before the accident, they were in his office in this big hush-hush, and they stopped when they saw me.
How about the day of the accident? Were they getting along?
Zach called in after he left looking for her, and I said that she went to pick up her kids. He didn't seem too happy.
Did he call from a cell phone? You know the number?
This isn't his personal phone. It's the one the company gave him.
Thanks. You've been very helpful.
Really? Glad.
Big hush hush. It's either personal, professional, or mineral.
Yeah, well, his number matches the number they called Brenda in the minivan. Maybe her son overheard the conversation.
Her son who just got out of the ICU. UIA guys are cold.
I can really keep it?
It's yours. Especially since you're going to help us with some of our detective work.
Okay.
Now, we know some of this stuff may be hard to talk about, so you just let us know and we can talk about it some other time.
I don't care.
Okay. Now, when you were in the car before the accident, do you remember your mom getting a phone call?
Yes, from her boss. She couldn't hear him, so she hung up. She was acting weird.
We understand, Nikki. We know it wasn't your mother's fault. Did she say anything about her boss?
She said he was nice. And he bought her a jam juice smoothie.
The smoothie She was drinking when you guys stopped to buy ice cream.
A Jam Juice franchise, 3 blocks from Woodmore Pharma, made a delivery late Friday afternoon. 8 smoothies, enough for the whole sales staff, charged to Zach Marshall's corporate card.
He spiked her smoothie and her nasal spray.
She parked in the company garage. She could have planted the liquor bottle in her minivan, too.
He wanted us to think she crashed her car because she was drunk, not because she was knocked out on propofol.
Crazy scheme.
Well, you're gonna love this here. The 911 calls about the minivan, they were all made between 5:24 and 5:25, all except one made at 5:16 from a payphone in Tuckahoe.
10 miles from the West Side Highway. Someone must have a big crystal ball.
Zach Marshall's phone call to Brenda Sawyer 2 minutes earlier hit off a cell phone tower in Tuckahoe.
I treat my team to smoothies every Friday, kind of a attaboy motivator.
And you didn't notice Brenda pouring a little extra kick into her cup, did you?
She knew I didn't tolerate that kind of behavior.
After you both left the office, you called her?
No?
This is the list of all the calls you made. See that one right there? You didn't tell us you called her.
I didn't know. I was driving with my phone in my pocket. I had Brenda on speed dial. I must have hit it by mistake.
Why did you have her on speed dial?
Well, I have all my team on speed dial.
Could we see your phone?
Well, I don't know. I deleted Brenda's entry. I think I deleted some others, moving them around. I'm not good at these gadgets. Anyway, it's not important, is it?
Oh, it is. You see, you and Brenda have been staying late together these last couple of weeks. People saw you, Zach. What were you working on?
I can't say. It's confidential information. It belongs to the company.
Are you sure you were working?
What else would it be?
You tell us.
Oh, no. No way. I'm married. She was married. She had kids, for God's sake.
Her kids and her nieces. This is what they looked like before the accident. You want to see the after pictures?
No, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, we know had this been in your power, you would have done everything to stop it from happening.
Of course. It was terrible.
But you did try, didn't you? You called 911.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. From a payphone in Tuckahoe.
She's in a dark blue minivan with New York plates. She's got kids with her. Send somebody right away, please.
What location, sir?
You see, you tried to get the police to pull her over before she got on the highway, before she was knocked out by the propofol you put in her nasal spray.
I didn't mean...
You didn't mean what?
You didn't mean what, Zach, huh? You didn't mean to get these kids killed? Is that what you mean? You didn't know they were going to be in the minivan, is that right? Look at the pictures, Zach! You didn't mean to kill these kids, did you?
I gotta go to the bathroom. Please, I gotta go! Please!
How'd you get to Mr. Osterhaus' apartment the day you killed him?
I walked.
Over a mile on busy city streets. How long did it take you?
Well, I didn't check my watch.
But you didn't get lost.
No.
Kill anyone along the way?
Objection.
Sustained.
How did you get home afterward?
I took a cab.
A cab? Really? Did you tip the cabbie?
Of course.
You remember walking to Mr. Osterhaus' apartment. You remember tipping the cabbie for the ride home, but nothing in between. I've got to admit, I find that curious. I also find it curious that you had the presence of mind to leave an innocent-sounding message for Mr. Osterhaus 2 hours after you killed him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I went in and out. I was so confused. I didn't know what I was doing.
You were establishing an alibi, weren't you? You want to walk out of this courtroom, and you're willing to demean half the world's population to do it.
Objection.
Go ahead. Mock me. Call me names. I'm used to it. Men have been laughing at me for years. They laughed when I applied for my first business loan. They laughed when I proposed to take my company public. They said the business community wouldn't take me seriously. They said, why don't you just put your pretty little face on the billboards and we'll take care of the rest. Well, I put my face on the billboards and I took care of the rest. I did it all myself. Do you think it's easy for me to admit that I lost control?
I want to remember Mr. McCoy. I wish to God I could. I need to be redeemed. Arthur.
What, no straitjacket?
That's not funny.
Yeah, Lillian tells me my last funny line was, I do.
Exactly whose cell are we here to search?
You're right. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, Jackie. I'm gonna put man one on the table, you'll do the minimum, and we'll call it a day.
My jury consultants tell me this is far from a sure thing.
I play poker with you, Arthur. The fact that you're here at all tells me you don't think you have a winner.
But I still get to draw some more cards.
Just how long do you think we can keep this metaphor going?
I'm gonna indict Lindsay for obstruction and conspiracy. Right. What do you care? You've already walked down that road with Lindsay once. You are really a piece of work, Jackie.
I'm not going to let you sit here and insult my client.
I haven't even warmed up yet. And as God's honest, I can't wait to get back in a courtroom.
You?
Hey, what are friends for?
Helen, would you give us a moment alone, please?
Not a chance.
All right, I'm fine.
Nothing she says can be used in court.
Never crossed my mind. The gender card? Please. You won't even use the ladies' tees.
Well, my lawyer seems pretty confident.
If I were you, I'd forget about my lawyer and start worrying about my daughter. Because when I cross-examine those witnesses, including Lindsay, I'm going to ask about every check you ever wrote, every share of stock you ever bought or sold, and every man who ever spent the night.
You son of a bitch.
Take your time. Discuss it all with counsel.
Pick a lane. That's what the old man used to say. He used to say, Jack, life is like the street. Like a dangerous New York street. You pick a lane. Then don't you let anybody ever cut you off. You can't cut me off, Arthur. No one can.
I didn't have to.